1 Peter 1 and verse 6. In all this, you greatly rejoice. You greatly rejoice, though for a little while you may have had to suffer grief in all kinds of trials. Verse 7. These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, the genuineness of your faith, is of greater worth than gold. It's worth more than gold. Even though the gold perishes when it's refined by the fire. So the genuineness of your faith, the realness of your faith, and the realness of your faith has produced a realness of your relationship with Jesus. Okay, it's not as you know him more. He's more present with you. It's sweeter. It's easier. It flows. You're more comfortable with yourself, and you're more comfortable in your Christianity. And also the double-sided nature that a lot of Christians have. Well, I got my Christian self and I got my human self, and sometimes they're at odds. Those odds are not as great. As a matter of fact, day by day, they seem to be less and less until you're no longer divided or two different people. You're becoming one. Because you're becoming more lined up with Christ, and a lot of the stuff that you thought would be really super traditional, you're not so worried about, well, how am I going to get over this hump, or how am I going to do that? It just is. It just lines up with your natural desires and your supernatural goals. How many people know what I'm talking about? So the genuineness of the faith has produced the genuineness and the quality of your relationship with Christ, the authenticity of the sincerity with your relationship. And, you know, it started off because you needed a miracle or a series of miracles, and you needed him to do some stuff, and you had to pray about it and fast about it, and you came in more. And then you got to the point to where you were worn out with the stuff that you were trying to do to make him do what you needed him to do, and then you had to kind of back up a little bit and realize that there's really nothing you could do except to wait on God. How many people know? And then after you started feeling some sort of way because he was taking his own sweet time and blessing you, because don't he know who you are? Once you got over yourself and stopped smelling yourself, because he's taking you all through the ranks. He's taking you from 7.5 to 10.5 to 13.5 to 16.5. From a little kid to a not so little kid to a preteen to a teenager to a young adult in the spirit. And as you mature in your Christianity, you realize that your perspective was off. Instead of acting like a little spoiled brat, that's not the thing to do. You need to understand how much he does for you and all he's done for you and what he's promised you and where he took you from and where he's taking you to. And all you have to do is stay in your lane and stay lined up with him and realize that everything you are and everything you have and everything you've already had and everything you will ever have is because he gave it to you, and you stay in the place of being grateful. And then the more grateful you are, you realize that you're grateful for your blessings, and you're even grateful for what the promised blessings are. But then you realize that the ultimate blessing is being grateful. I lost you right there. I'm going to circle back around. I'm going to hit that one again in a minute. Let me just go a little bit further. In verse 7, you know, it's more precious. Your faith is more precious than gold, and gold perishes in the fire. So even though we think gold is very valuable, it's dwarfed by the power of your faith, your genuine faith, and your closeness in your relationship with Christ. And not only that, it may result in your praise. The faith, the genuine faith, results in your praise and the glory and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. So the faith is going to produce the praise. After you go through all that stuff, you just realize you need to praise him. And in the praise, you'll see the glory. And in the glory, you'll see the honor when Christ is revealed. Wow, that sounds deep. Don't that sound deep? What do it mean? Christ is being revealed. Now, there's a couple of ways you could take it. Yeah, when I get to heaven, he's going to be revealed. I'll get to see him then. Jump down to verse 9. For you are receiving the end result of your faith, the salvation of your souls. Now, that right there makes it seem like when you get to heaven, then you're going to see Jesus be revealed. But it doesn't say when you get to heaven. It says you get the end result now. Because, see, some of y'all been through some stuff that some other folks didn't have to go through. And some of y'all have been through some trials that even some saved folk wouldn't be able to walk through. And you wonder, what is it all for? Why am I being singled out? God, well, if I'm so special, why do I have to walk through this thing backwards? It doesn't seem fair. He said, I got you. I got something special for you. I'm going to reveal myself, and I'm going to give you the end of your faith. Now. In verse 7, it said, at the end of verse 7, it said, let me go back to this, because this is stuck with me. Praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed. Okay, revealed. You got to take the word and make the root word to get it to it. Okay, so revealed, E-D at the end. If you take the E-D off, the root word is reveal. As so, revelation, the root word of revelation is revealed. So when the revelation of Christ is manifest, you get to see his glory. And you get to see that through the praise and the gratefulness. So if you kind of reverse it, because sometimes the word is like Spanish, you got to flip it around to get the understanding. So really, to get the praise, to get the honor and the glory of Jesus Christ, I have to first be in the place of giving him praise and being grateful. And the only place to truly get in that place to where no matter what is going on, I can be grateful. I have to walk through these trials by faith. You see, some of y'all, I want to talk to some folk that have been waiting for a long time. If you've been waiting for more than a year and a half, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, put your hand up. If I hit any of you, you've been waiting for a long time, to the point where you've been mad, you've been sad, you've been happy, glad, and then you just like, whatever, God, I know you're gonna do it at some point, but I just pray that I can still see when you do bless me with it. And now you're so grateful for the little things, and you find joy in the little things. And he's had you in the same place for years, and you start to see beauty in things that you've had around you for years that you never noticed before. Amen. I've been in my house for 11 years, 12 years. I love that house now more than I ever did. I need to probably change a few things, update a couple of things, but I just love it. Did the house change? No, I did. For a long time, I was bored, waiting for the next phase, because he's blessed me to do some things over the years, and give me the ball ready for the next thing. And I realized I'm looking at it backwards. I'm grateful for where I am now. Amen. My life is good. I mean, trust me, it's some things I'm waiting for him to do, but if I put those 2 or 3 things aside and look at all the other stuff, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Come on, give the Lord a praise. I'm more grateful than I've ever been with less than I ever remember having. Well, maybe that's the blessing. How many people know? Am I talking to me or talking to you? If I'm talking to you too, you ought to praise him. Go with me to verse 9. I know I skipped verse 8. Go with me to verse 9. Verse 9. For you're receiving the end result of your faith, which is the salvation of your souls. And now go to verse 8. Though you have not seen him. Check this. You haven't seen Christ, but you love him. Like, you really love him now. Like, really, for real. I'm not talking about that you fear him. Like that's the beginning of wisdom when you first come and you fear the reverence of God because he's everything. He made everything. And I'm not talking about the respect for him because you kind of have to do that. And I'm not talking about knowing him because you can know him without loving him. And I'm not talking about just loving him because of how he is. I'm talking about it's personal now. He's in there. You know what I mean? You've been through the stuff. There's some stuff you know what to do and what not to do, and you don't want to grieve him. You've been through all of that, and you've bbeen through feeling some sort of way. You can't be mad because you can't manipulate him. You can't pull on him like you do with other folk. You have no choice but to be real when dealing with him. And he's placed you in a position when really you have no choice but to be real with every situation in your life. And what he has done is taken the reality of his relationship and transformed it into you so that you now have a genuineness about who you are, but you have a genuineness with your faith and your relationship with him. How many people know? And in that place of loving him, it goes on further in verse 8 and says, and even though you didn't see him now, you believe in him. So you've learned to love him, which has strengthened your faith even more. So it's like you've been through so much until it's like, God, I don't even know what you're going to do. I just trust you. Okay, I just want to stay prayed up. I'm going to keep my eyes open. I want to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And as you continue to ascend me higher and deeper, and I notice that you prune some of the people around me. Sometimes you move some out the way, you bring some in. Sometimes you move some other folk around. Sometimes they come back, they're transformed. I continue to ascend. I continue to trust you. I don't know what you're going to do. You keep making the promises more apparent to me. And the higher I go, the more understanding I get. The more understanding I get, the more peace I have. The more peace I have, the more joy I have. The more joy I have, the more full I am on the inside. And the more I'm waiting for the manifestation of the outward blessing, the more I realize I'm already super blessed on the inside. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm just full with the love of Christ. I'm just so grateful with what I got going on. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm grateful and I can't explain it. Inexpressible and glorious joy. I've got inexpressible and glorious joy. And it looked worse in the natural than it ever did. Amen. For the things that I'm waiting for. How many people know what I'm talking about on this morning? You ought to praise him. So somewhere you have to realize that he's giving you a different perspective. He's giving you an elevation for you to see things. It's almost like if I hold this camera and I'm videotaping all y'all with my little smartphone, I might get most of you. I might get some of it. It's not going to be that great. The quality's not going to be that great. If I really wanted to do something professionally and I wanted to use that recording for television, then I'm going to use something a little bit more professional. It's going to give me a different perspective. I'll use a better quality lens and a professional camera. And yeah, you had to pay a little bit more for the camera, and you had to put a little bit more time and effort into understanding how to run it. And of course, you need the tripod so that it's elevated to the right height to see from the vantage point that you need to see from to get the best angle to see everything that's going on. But once you've got the lens elevated to the right place and you've got the proper equipment because you spent the money, you invested in what was needed to get the best view, then you know the quality of the production is going to give you what you want. Amen. And that's what God has done for most of you. He's given you a bird's eye view. He's given you the eye similar to the lens of a television camera. Then he built a tripod, and instead of building it on plastic legs, he built it on your faith. So he's got you in an elevated place where you can see the vantage point from a different perspective than other people. And the price of the equipment, which is you, was paid for by your faith. And he got you just in the right place so you can see what he's doing. Now, just like a TV camera, sometimes you have to zoom in, and he's had you zoomed in for a long time, so you see things up close. But sometimes they have a term where you pan around. When you swing it around, they call it panning. You have to pan around, you have to zoom out so you can see the bigger picture. And that's what he's doing for a lot of you right now. You've been zoomed in close, so you can only see short range, like a little kid. I'm 7. I'll be 7.5 soon. I'm 7.5. I'll be 8 soon. I'll be 9.5 soon. We've been looking at the half numbers. Now he's trying to get you to see the eternal picture. Amen. Go with me to Philippians 4, and I'm closing in just a minute. Philippians 4 and about 12. Y'all getting this on this morning? 4 and 12. Now this is Paul speaking. This is my favorite apostle. It's actually one of my favorite scriptures. And it reads, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. Paul said, I've been abased, and I've been abound. I done had it all, and I done had nothing at all. Most of y'all know that scripture. I've seen it both ways. I done had a lot of money, and I've been so broke sometimes I'm counting quarters. Amen. And then sometimes you sit in the corner and wonder what it's all for. It wasn't about how much money you had or how much money you didn't have. It was about understanding the perspective, understanding how to look at the situation. Because see, you could have a lot of money like that rich farmer, okay, and had a wrong perspective. He didn't get to enjoy the money. He just had it. If you're not grateful, you're not going to have any joy with the money. You could buy some stuff, but you don't get to keep the stuff. You're not going to be fulfilled if you're not grateful. Amen. You could have a little teeny bit of money and have the wrong attitude and be miserable. Or you could have a little teeny bit of money and be happier than people that got millions. Amen. You ever know somebody who their whole life didn't make a whole lot of money, but they just happy as they can be. They got everything they need and just happy. Huh? I know a bunch of folk like that. Happy. I used to live in Aruba. It was some folk. I know this guy. He had, at the time, he had a car that was about 30 years old. Okay. It ran. The floorboards was rotted out. He had a job with the company I worked for. I don't think he didn't make a lot of money. He had a little shack on the beach and had a little wife, and he would work half a day. Take his little car, take his little friends. His hobby was deep sea fishing. He took me out a couple times, went fishing. That was the happiest man I know. He had a little shack on the beach, a little car where the floorboards was rotten in the floorboards, and happy as he could be. Are you happy with your shack? And the car with the floorboards rotten out? Because if you can be happy in that situation, then you can be happy when and if God chooses to really bless you with whatever you're waiting for. How many people know what I'm talking about? Let me finish this off. Paul said, I've been abased and I've been abound. I know what it is to have a lot and to have a little bit. And he goes on to say, I have learned the secrets. I've read this 1,000 times, but I saw something different this time. I've learned the secret of being content in it says in any and every situation. He give it to you both ways, in any and every. Okay? No matter what, I know how to be content. Whether I'm well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or living in want. And then he goes on to say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And if you really stop and think about it, wait a minute, Paul, you ain't tell us what the secret was. He told what the result was. He said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But right before he says that, he said, I learned what the secret is. You know what I mean? If I say to you, I got a secret treasure buried, and it's got $10 million in gold coins, and if you get to that treasure, you'll have enough money for you and your family for the next 3 generations. Okay? If you just get to that treasure, get to the treasure. I want you to go ahead, go get the treasure. All right, I'll talk to you later. Left you out there because I didn't tell you where the treasure was. That's what he said. I have been abased and I've been abound. I've had a lot and I've had a little bit. And some of you all, check this out. Whatever you're waiting for, you got the little bit now, but you started off with the lot. Whether it's money, whether it's career, whether it's a family issue, whether you're waiting for a man or a woman, whether it's a child, whether it's a car. I guarantee you, most of you probably waiting for 2 things. And I guarantee you at least one of the things that you're waiting for is in an area that used to be very abundant for you, that you used to take for granted. It was so flowing. The reason is he had to give you what seemed like the plenty first. Then he had to pull that back so you learn to trust him when it looked like famine. And in that place is where you learn to trust him no matter what. And no matter what, he's got you. And because he's got you, you've grown closer to him, and you've got more understanding, and you've learned how to conquer that back and forth for the most part that we all have. Some of you have it more than others. Well, I should do this. I know this is what I should do, but I want to do this. Well, you know what? He knows my heart, so I'm not going to do this. Well, he'll let you go over here and do that, and then you get your tail twisted a little bit, and you're like, maybe I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to come back over here with Jesus. So many of you have stopped going back and forth about who you are and who you've not. You've settled into not only your Christianity, but your relationship with him. You understand not only how to hear him, but how to feel him. Not only how to feel him, but how to coexist with him all the time. A lot of Christians think it has to be one or the other. You know, I'm with Jesus until every once in a while, I got to have me a shot of tequila. So I'm going to leave Jesus at home, and I'm going to go hit the bar. I'm with Jesus, but, he need to understand, I grew up going to the strip club, and every once in a while, I need to go make it rain. Y'all laughing. But I would imagine that some of you have contrast that would sound equally as ridiculous. Okay, I'm with Jesus, but they got 5 casinos around D.C. now. I need to go play my blackjack. Yeah, they got quiet right there, did they? So let me finish this off. Verse 13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all this through him who gives me strength, is another version of it. I'm going to go back to verse 12, and then I'm closing. He said, I've been abased and I've been abound. I've had a lot, I've had a little, and I have learned the secret of being content in every situation. And I'm going to tell you what the secret is. Y'all ready? Y'all want to write it down? Matter of fact, I ain't even got to tell you. Y'all already know. It was the title. I told you when I first got up here, the title of the whole thing is Grateful. So intellectually, you know that the secret to everything is to be grateful in no matter what it looks like. That's the secret. Now, I could have told you that 3 years ago or 6 years ago. I could have told you that before you got into all these faith trials, right? The Lord could have told you that before, and you would have known, right? Actually, he did. He told all of us. And we all knew, but it was intellectual. So you couldn't really hear it. You couldn't receive it. You couldn't digest it. The reason that he had to take you through all of this stuff is so that you could be purged of all of the negative side of our humanity, the doubt and the fear and the going back and forth and being at odds with him and feeling like you're losing yourself and feeling some sort of way and being mad because you had to wait and being mad that you're not getting your way and being mad about all kinds of stuff and feeling some sort of way. He had to take you through a journey that most people wouldn't have made it through so that he could bless you with the inheritance of knowing no matter what, in every situation, all you have to do is just be grateful. And if you stay in the place of being grateful, you can always hear Christ. And it doesn't matter what it looks like, because as long as you're grateful, if you feel in some sort of way, if you go outside and they took the car, if you went home and they repossessed the house, if the dog got burnt up in the fireplace, if the kids left home, if your husband said he don't want you no more, whatever news you get, if you stay in the place of being grateful, then you can hear Christ and you already know that with him all things are possible. So what I'm saying to you is no matter what, just stay grateful and you're already blessed. Amen. Come on, give a Lord a praise.